Welcome back to round number 3 of our Gym Challenge League Challenge, our final League Challenge here at Psycho Turtle of the season. I am Dennis Geisler, and please introduce yourself.
My name is Oscar. I'm spectating today, but decided to cast for a little bit.
Very exciting. We're going to get into round number 3, game number 1, I guess, of round 3. Nicholas Stavrakis and Hayley Aldworth, 2 players everyone loves seeing on stream. Nicholas running the Paldean Gym Leader Fairy team. It's the Clefairy, Whimsicott, Fluttermane, Iron Valiant, Zacian, and the Terra Fairy Miraidon. I always make sure to identify the Paldean Gym Leader team. And then Hayley running that Dondozo, Tatsugiri, along with Calyrex Shadow, the Indeedee female, the Galarian Weezing, and the Groudon. We've seen tons of Hayley. She won here last week. Been on a real hot streak lately with that Dondozo in this format. It's just so scary to have to play against Dondozo when your team is just not built for it. It's still really strong against a bunch of restricteds. For example, against Zacian, you ignore the Intrepid Sword boost because of your Unaware. And even Miraidon can struggle a bit against Dondozo when it goes Terra Grass. You kind of are forced to Draco Meteor. It's just kind of awkward in that matchup, but you also don't even need to bring it if you're Hayley, the Dondozo. You can also just go with the CSR Groudon mode, and both those Pokemon pretty dang strong.
They both eat for sure.
Absolutely. We're going to get into game number 1 here. Eventually. When the game decides to load.
They did pick their teams fast.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch what they were using.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what's being clicked here. So we're both going in blind on what these mons are actually going to be here. Hayley is going to lead with the Groudon Weezing, and then Nicholas on the other end with the Zacian and Clefairy. So the Groudon is not going to get it's not going to get to boost or get to Drought with the Neutralizing Gas, but you really don't need to a lot of the time. Clefairy will also lose the Friend card, and Zacian does not get the Intrepid Sword boost. So a lot more lost on Nicholas's side by not being able to get those abilities up right now. And at the same time, though, Weezing is a little bit threatened by that Zacian there. You're going to see the Terra here. With it's Terra Fighting? Terra Fighting on the Zacian. That is interesting. We'll boost the Sacred Sword damage, of course. And it will also make it no longer weak to Precipice Blades, which is probably the big reason. See here, it is just going for the Sacred Sword. Plus, Helping Hand, Sacred Sword with the Terra Fighting. Interesting choice. It does over half the Groudon. Precipice Blades.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, Precipice Blades do a lot of damage there. And the taunt onto the Clefairy, I don't believe... Yeah, Clefairy does not have an attacking move, so it will either struggle or switch out here, I guess. And that also means that Sacred Sword probably won't pick up Groudon without the Helping Hand boost. So it'll be a choice now of what Nicholas wants to go for, but Clefairy pretty much has to get on out of there.
I spoke to Hayley earlier, and she said her Groudon does not go down easily, so seeing that much damage on it...
Real bulky. And that's the thing, it's like you have to really focus it down early on in the battle. And that's what gets scary, is when you have to put so much into taking down the Groudon.
Wow.
Doesn't get there with the Behemoth Blade, I think. And Stomping Tantrum should pick up, not a spread move. Ooh, so close. Ooh, but the Poison Gas, following up will probably take out the rest of it. And that's what happens when you go away from the Steel type. But that's the thing, is that it takes so much to take down the Groudon, and then there may or may not be a Dondozo in the bag. Clefairy going to struggle. Ooh, actually, kind of interesting going for the 50-50 of where to go with the struggle. Whether it hits the Groudon and you potentially get the KO or not. But Zacian is going to drop to the Poison Gas chip. And that also takes out the Terra as well, so already a lot lost for Nicholas at the beginning of this battle. And Clefairy will take just a little bit more damage there.
If I was Nick, what would you do in this position with Clefairy?
Yeah, I feel like it would have been nice to switch it out last turn, but I think you kind of just have to accept that Clefairy is not going to do a whole lot this battle, and try to take out both these Pokemon as best as possible. The thing is, your struggle does so little damage, because you're a Clefairy.
You need to create a... I don't even know. there's nothing Clefairy can do. So
yeah,
go
Clefairy
switch
will
out.
probably just have to switch out, and it will be able to follow me when it comes back in, so it's not going to be completely useless for the remainder of this battle. But there is the Miraidon, not going to be allowed to get the terrain up just yet.
Weezing is bringing a whole lot of trouble here.
And it'll probably get another Poison Gas off here. No, it's a strange Steam into the Iron Valiant. Brings it down to the Sash. Yeah, it's a lot more damage than you would think, both because Iron Valiant doesn't take any hits and because the Weezing kind of goes crazy. And yep, there is Dondozo the Pompous. I know that Dondozo's nickname is Poppy the Pompous, named after Hayley's dog, which is pretty funny.
Shout out to Poppy.
So here is the question for Hayley. I feel like the play... I've played enough Dondozo at this point, and I've seen Hayley play enough Dondozo. The options are either switch out Weezing into the Tatsugiri, or I feel like it's more likely you protect on Dondozo right now and you click Poison Gas. And so it's just a question of which do you go for. Because the thing is, if you put anything into trying to hit the Weezing slot, then you... Yeah. I'm telling you, I've seen this team a lot. Because yeah, if you put too much into the Dondozo, then Weezing just gets off a move for free, and if you put anything into the Tatsugiri, or into the Weezing, if it switches out into Tatsugiri, that doesn't do anything. Ooh, but it's a strange Steam, actually, into the Miraidon, which is a pretty nice chunk of damage.
Coming from a Weezing hit.
Yeah, coming from a Weezing, like, that's good. But now Tatsugiri's gonna have to hit the field.
Big Dozo action.
Yeah, we're gonna see the real Dondozing time, but I think at this point Nicholas is kind of just hoping for a crit on Miraidon, so I don't think there's a whole lot of other options here. If Weezing switches out, Quark Drive will activate.
We locked into a Draco Meteor, so we'll see.
Yeah, which I think Unaware ignores the Draco Meteor drop at least,
yes.
So that's a nice little advantage for Nicholas, just being able to spam out the Draco Meteors. Not that it's ideal, especially because now the Dondozo doesn't even have to Terra. And you can save the Terra if you really need it, but you don't really need to. There's Tatsugiri coming in, of course. There's the funny commander bonus. Nom 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 nom. And we'll very slowly get to read out the Omni Boost. It's really weird to me the speed comes third in that group. There's some orders where it's attack, defense, speed, special attack, special defense, and some where it's just attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed.
They just went in order by the vitamins, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's different for different items or different parts of the menu. Yeah. It's very strange. Dondozo is going to Terra, though. No real reason not to at this point. Take a bit of damage from that close combat, more than I honestly anticipated. That's pretty good damage into a Dondozo. And now, Draco Meteor, how much is this going to do? Ooh, very good damage, but not quite enough. And yeah, it's got to be an order up into the Miraidon. Definitely was a... Yeah, there was definitely a possibility there to go for an Earthquake if you were just expecting Iron Valiant not to wide guard. Just hit, but now Dondozo just gets to stall for a little bit. It's going to... I promise you this is a protect.
Yeah.
I promise you this is a protect from the Dondozo right now.
Clefairy is still poisoned, so I see that coming.
And I think this game is... I mean, this game is over, but it's also... I think it's over in more ways than one, in that Clefairy's on a timer.
Ooh, no protect.
No protect? That's fascinating to me. I guess it's not that big a deal. Nope, it isn't protect. Helping Hand goes before protect.
Whoa.
So, yeah. And so that'll mean Clefairy takes a little bit of poison damage, but the bigger thing is getting that leftovers healing. You want to maximize the leftovers healing as much as possible. What Hayley will do here. Dondozo's so intimidating, just staring them down. And now, at this point, I think you can fairly safely click Earthquake, honestly, or just click Wave Crash into the Iron Valiant. All you need is 1 HP to win this. There is the Helping Hand.
How much does this do?
I mean, Helping Hand boosted will get close.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got close, but not going to pick up the KO, and that'll mean Dondozo is going to close this one out. It is the Earthquake. Doesn't hit the Tatsugiri, of course. And there we go. Hayley Aldworth with a 1-0 lead now after game 1. And yeah, that was just kind of classic. You lead out with Groudon, Dondozo comes in, Dondozo wins the rest of the battle, and that's always the problem with playing against this team, is that so few teams have like a really nice answer to Groudon, and you kind of have to play out the beginning of the match a little bit slowly, you take a lot of damage from the Groudon, and then Dondozo comes in, and you needed all of those resources to get rid of Dondozo. Like, there's just too much on this team that takes too many resources to get rid of.
Nice way of putting it, honestly.
Yeah.
You do a great job.
Thanks! I do my best. I cared the most about talking about Dondozo, so...
Yeah, the chat's favorite.
Chat's favorite. I know the chat loves Dondozo. No one's getting a potato in the mail. Nothing crazy happening. We're gonna get into game number 2 here. I mean, what do you do if you're Nicholas? I mean, honestly, problem number 1, you're running a mono fairy team. Problem number 2, what do you do about Groudon? Like, you had pretty good damage against Groudon in that previous game with the Terra-boosted Sacred Sword, and it just didn't matter a whole lot. And the taunt got Clefairy pretty much useless pretty quickly.
I'll leave Clefairy in the bag, to be honest. I think you get more...
And Clefairy will actually be valuable in the back. Clefairy against Dondozo will be very nice, because you will force Dondozo to not click Order Up, because you will have Follow Me's.
Yeah.
Which is really nice, because that Dondozo is a lot more manageable when it's not getting a ton of attack boosts, especially if you're playing a little bit slower against it. But I also don't know if this team really has the tools to play slower against Dondozo in the same way. Although Sacred Sword, I believe, also ignores the defense boost. So at the very least, you're doing a little bit more damage. And Hayley's going to switch it up here, actually going with the Calyrex and the Weezing here. This is also like a really scary duo, because Calyrex just hits you with so much damage. Although it's going to be a little bit easier here, given that Nicholas does have the Wide Guard available to try to block the Astral Barrage. It's going to be kind of a 50-50 at this point. Do you Wide Guard, do you not Wide Guard? Like, what do you think is the safe choice here? Because, yeah, if you don't Wide Guard, you're going to take a ton of damage with Astral Barrage, and if you Wide Guard, you could be wasting Valiant's turn, when otherwise you could potentially get rid of Calyrex.
Yeah, knowing that Calyrex only has one move that can hit single target.
Yeah. Well, it'll hit Expanding Force single target, because it's...
no field.
Because there's no Psychic Terrain on the field, so that is a nice little advantage. And yep, there's the Paldean gym leader thing. You get to see the Terra Fairy. All these Pokemon are fairy types now.
What to be expected, Nicholas.
And it will be the Wide Guard.
Wide Guard into...
Calyrex click, it'll be Expanding Force, yeah. And that'll mean a double up will finish out the Valiant, which will be pretty nice for Hayley. Rhino does play Dazzling Gleam, which shouldn't take Calyrex down with his sash. It should be, wow, not even half. Really not a ton of damage. Miraidon just doesn't get a whole lot done if it doesn't have the terrain up. And Neutralizing Gas stops that so well. And now that the Valiant's out of the way, nothing can stop nothing can stop the Astral Barrage from coming down. Other than, I suppose, the Flutter Mane doing something here, but still a lot of options for Hayley against that. You do still have the Terra Normal on the Calyrex.
The Proto.
Yeah. Oh, and there's no Proto, so you outspeed Flutter anyways. Yeah. Man, this is brutal to play against. Flutter Mane drops straight up, 100 to 0. Just out of there. And Miraidon's locked into Dazzling Gleam. We know that doesn't KO. Yeah, the Weezing with the Calyrex is so good, because for some reason Aslan ignores Neutralizing Gas for reasons no one really understands.
Tell us why you love Calyrex Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Calyrex as well. I don't have it on my team anymore, but I'm a big fan of Calyrex as well. It's such a funny horse. You just click the one big button, and you're doing a great job.
You know what? Gold stars all around.
Yep. And now Miraidon is poisoned. It'll take a little bit more damage. Zacian comes in here, and I mean, frankly, at this point, it's just Astral Barrage City. There's really no other options here, and even if even if Nicholas is able to get through this Calyrex, there's a Dondozo in the back.
Weezing, I feel, is the MVP in both of these games.
Weezing is quietly the MVP in a lot of Hayley's games. A lot of people do not properly appreciate Weezing or do not properly respect Weezing in the matchups. It's really good. And Zacian will be brought down to fairly low HP. Miraidon's taken down. See if Zacian's able to take out the Calyrex, if it aims for the Calyrex.
Is this Calyrex's first KO?
No, it got the Flutter Mane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it got the Flutter Mane. Don't you worry. And yeah, there was something aimed into the Weezing. I didn't even see what it was, but that's going to be the end of this battle. 2-0 for Hayley. Just the horse needed.
And the chat goes wild.
And the chat...
we love Dozo.
Yeah, I mean, the chat didn't have to see Dozo for one of those 2 games. Yeah, that was really something. I mean, we're seeing why Hayley won last week. We're seeing why Hayley's been doing so well lately. This team is really, really strong, and she plays so well around it. There's so much that this team gets to do.
So many shenanigans. A lot of Weezing play.
Yeah, so many shenanigans. I mean, the nice thing, and Miraidon's so good right now, if you can stop it from having its terrain up, getting its terrain up, or having its terrain up, you can really neutralize it quite a bit. And Weezing and Indeedee both keep its terrain down. So it's so difficult to play against. We're gonna take
respect the Weezing.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna take a quick break. We'll be back with round number 4, final round of Swiss. Getting into crunch time here. Don't go anywhere.
W's in chat for Weezing.